welcome to our virtual yoga class. Thanks for joining me. We'll go ahead and begin class laying on our back. So shift down towards that position. We'll begin class the way that we end class. So that's with a little mini Shavasana. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. So what this pose is here at the beginning of class is a pose so that we have an opportunity to start shifting our attention back into our bodies in a way that's very relaxed and comforting. This is a restorative pose. Your body is supported by the ground. Inhale here and exhale side out. As a reminder, we are cultivating a practice, so it takes some time to shift our attention to our breath, inhaling and exhaling, just checking in. A quick body scan, notice the top of the head, shoulders, fingertips, hips, down the legs to your toes. Invite a full belly breath. It's that same breath that's here to support you throughout your day. Inhale and exhale. We forget what our full breath is like. Here, your belly expands and ribcage expands. Optional exhale, side out. Know that throughout your day, you're able to return to this full breath. 3 more breaths, long inhale, long exhale, to a point that feels comfortable for you. Continuously shifting our attention back to our bodies. Our breath is our focusing tool. You can inhale, exhale, side out. And then we'll start to bend our right knee, lengthen our leg up towards the ceiling, interlace our fingers right behind our knee. Hold here. You can rotate your ankle clockwise or counterclockwise. Bring your thigh closer towards your belly, closer towards your chest. And then bend your right knee. Start to bring that thigh a little bit closer, extend your leg again. Focus your stretch there on your hamstring. You want to shift that stretch into the hips. Drop your leg towards the left here and hold. Stretching throughout the glutes and hip, even the lower back. Back to center. And drop your leg towards the right. Back to center. And then practicing those slow mindful movements, release your heel back down towards the floor. Opposite side, bend your left knee, lengthen your left leg up towards the ceiling. Let's take a few moments here to rotate our ankle. You want to gently stretch there throughout the calf muscle, stretch the ankle, tops of the feet, or tops of the foot here. Flex that right foot towards the front of the room for stability. I'm going to start to bend that knee, bring your thigh closer towards your belly or chest, and now extend your leg once again. Either remaining here, focusing on your hamstring, or if you want to focus on your left hip, drop your leg towards the right and hold. Back to center, you can drop your leg towards the left. Keep your hands right behind that left thigh or knee. Hold. And lengthen your leg as much as you can. And then come back to center. Let's slowly release our heel back down towards the floor. Soles of the feet touch. We're shifting into our butterfly pose. Soles of the feet touch, your choice here. You can drop your hands, backs of the hands on the floor, palms towards the ceiling. You can rest your hands on your belly, your chest, or you can lift your arms up overhead, backs of the hands on the floor, elbows are bent. Inhale, and exhale, your choice, side out. So remain here anywhere 5 to 10 breaths here. This is to allow yourself to soften and to relax. You want to notice the physical sensation of relaxation. Releasing tension from the neck, down the back, here, especially around our hips. We have access to our full diaphragm breathing here, meaning that our belly can fully expand. Inhale. And exhale. Reacquaint yourself with your full breath. This is the breath you can go back to throughout your day, throughout your week. Familiarize yourself with your full breath. That being said, it is a difficult process to maintain nice, even breaths or long breaths over a long period of time. So it's okay that you just take a few long breaths. Cultivate that practice. It takes a lot of attention and presence. Inhaling and exhaling. Using our breath as our focusing tool as we bridge the physical, mental, emotional bodies. Soften the tailbone down towards the floor. Two more breaths. And as you reach your exhale, start to bring your knees back close together. Float your feet off the floor and then take your hands to your knees. Let's rock to the left, to the right here. And then start to round your spine. Bring your forehead up towards your knee. Do that a couple of times at your own pace with your breath. Inhaling up, forehead up towards your knee. And then release your head back. And actually, as you're lifting your forehead up, that's best for an exhale, and it's best for an inhale as you drop your head back. Reach your forehead towards your knees, get that release throughout the spine, and then drop your head back. Extend your legs up towards the ceiling. Slowly release your heels down towards the floor. Hold, and then release. Start to ground your hands onto the floor. Let's lift up, sit to come into a seat. Hands on your knees. One intentional breath here. We inhale and exhale. Start to shift your legs out of position. We're going to shift our legs into the shape of a V. Turn your chest towards your right foot. Allow a little bend to that knee. And now your hands can rest anywhere as we start to fold over. So you're folding down, leading through your chest and your heart, and then you're releasing your hands either to your thighs, shins, or to your toes. Deep belly breath here. We want to work on our flexibility here, and we're using our breath to assist us to fold a little deeper. Notice where that boundary is. Breathe into that boundary and fold just a little bit more. You can do that continuously from one breath to the next. Don't ever fold more than you feel comfortable with doing. You can flex that left foot to intensify that stretch, or you can soften your foot Up to you in that bend of the knee. Either a generous bend or a little subtle bend to that knee. Relax your breath. Feel free to hear your inhale and exhale. One more breath. Release your hands. Start to lift back up. Shift your chest towards your left foot. Allow a little bend to that right knee. Hands can reach anywhere as you fold down. Once again, noticing your boundary, breathing into your boundary and folding a little deeper. That can happen at each breath. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Release the pose. From here, we'll start to fold down the middle. So as you fold down the middle, just inch your hands forward and just see how far you can fold. You can invite a good little bend to your knees. Hold here, 3 to 5 breaths. Inhale and exhale. Dropping your belly towards the floor. You can extend throughout the spine here. Chin is neutral. Dropping your pelvis, your belly towards the floor, lengthening the spine. Hold, deep belly breath. Here, your inhale and exhale. And now release the pose. Bring your legs back together. Let's fold into our forward fold. From your forward fold, be very specific about how you would like to lift up to standing. You can either roll up slowly or sweep your arms up overhead. So up to you. Hands meet in front of your heart center. Take a breath. And either keep your hands here in front of your heart center or frame your hips with your hands. We're going to practice the more difficult part of yoga, that inner stillness. It's inhale and exhale for the day we've had so far. Learning to slow down, to really be with our breath and our bodies. It's difficult to do so when we're in a space of fear or overthinking. Second cycle of breath, we're appreciating this present moment. And then third cycle of breath, appreciating the rest of our day. If your eyes are closed, you can start to open your eyes. Let's work on our upper body. Let's lift our arms up overhead, interlace our fingers, palms up towards the ceiling, stretch towards the left side of the room. You're grounding that right heel onto the floor. Sending throughout the arm, and then back to center, opposite side. Inhale here, exhale. Come back to center, release your hands, interlace your fingers behind you, draw your shoulder blades even closer together, extend your elbows, bend your knees, fold all the way down, forward fold. Relax your neck, bring your shoulder blades closer together here. Still bend to your knees, you're dropping your belly towards your thighs. And now take your hands to your shins, let's inhale halfway up. Exhale, release, fold, relax your neck. Second round out of 3, inhale halfway up. Exhale, release. Third round, inhale halfway up. Exhale, release. Your choice how you come up to standing. You can roll up slowly or sweep your arms up overhead. Either hands framing your hips or hands in front of your heart center. One breath here. We're continuously practicing arriving to this present moment. It's a difficult practice from one moment to the next. Inhale and exhale. We'll release our hands, arms lift up overhead, interlace your fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Ground through your heels, round your spine, palms shift towards the front of the room, chin towards your chest. Hold. Release. Bring your arms out to a T. And now twist towards the right side of the room so your feet are grounded. And to the best of your ability, shift your hips towards the front of the room. Now they are going to naturally open towards the right, but try to keep those hips square towards the front. You're taking your gaze over your right fingertips. Come back to center. And then opposite side. Take your gaze over your left hand. Hips square towards the front. And then back to center. Release your hands. We'll start to create a rhythm with our bodies. 3 round sun salutations. You can always move quicker or slowly. Up to you. I'll go ahead and cue though. Inhale. Arms lift up overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back into your plank pose, noticing your elbows. The elbows remain close to your torso as you release down towards the floor. Inhale up, tops of the feet on the floor, shoulders away from your ears in your upward facing dog. Lift up to our first downward facing dog of the class. Inhale, exhale, ground through your palms, chest moves towards your thighs. Breathe into your heels, your hamstrings, your upper back, your palms. And now take your gaze between your hands, walk or jump up to that forward fold. Let's lift our arms up overhead. Hands meet down in front of our heart center. Let's inhale. And exhale. Release your hands, arms lift. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, ground your hands on the floor. Shift down in towards the floor. Inhale, up. Upward facing dog. Down dog. Stay here just a breath. Take your gaze between your hands, walk or jump up to that forward fold, and then let's sweep our arms up overhead. Hands meet right down in front of our heart center. Inhale here, exhale. Third sun salutation, arms lift. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale up, upward facing dog. We meet at our down dog. Either in tabletop or downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, bend your left knee, stack your hips to the left and hold. And now left knee reaches towards that left elbow, hover. Lift your leg, bend your knee, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor. Lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Right knee reaches towards that right elbow. Lift your leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor. Release your knee. Step back, child's pose. Gather your breath. We'll stay here 3 to 5 breaths. Inhaling, exhaling. Observe the flow of your breath. If you're ever having trouble concentrating, increase the length of your inhale and exhale just a little bit. One more generous breath. From your child's pose, we'll start to lift back up into a tabletop neutral position. Hands beneath our shoulders. Press that right palm onto the floor. Lift your left arm up towards the ceiling and hold. And then release your hand back down towards the floor. Opposite side, lift that right arm up towards the ceiling and hold. Release your hand, lift up, downward facing dog. Take your gaze between your hands and walk or jump up to that forward fold. Your choice, how you come up to standing. Make it intentional, how you come up to standing. Same thing with your mountain pose. Hands framing your hips or hands in front of your heart center. Inhale. And exhale. We'll start to shift into our warrior one. Left foot steps forward, right leg steps back. So our right foot is in a diagonal. We pivot our hips towards the front of the room. There's a 90-degree bend to that right knee. And your arms can lift up overhead. Let's lift our gaze up towards the ceiling. Lifting our chin. And then take a breath, breathing from your heels all the way up to your fingertips. Deep belly breath, inhale, exhale. Release your hands, start to cup your forearms with your hands. Lengthen that left knee, drop your chest so it's parallel to the floor and hold. You can allow a little bend to that left knee for some support. Drop your belly towards your thigh, left thigh, and then drop your hands down towards the floor. Relax your neck, hold here, 3 breaths. Focus on your left hip, left hamstring. You can lengthen that left leg for a deeper stretch. Relax your neck, make sure you're not craning your neck up. Inhale here, exhale. We'll start to prepare for standing splits. So for your standing splits, you want your hands to inch forward and then lift that right leg. Fingertips are right beneath your shoulders. You're lifting your right leg as high as you can. Right foot meets that left foot. 3 rounds. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, halfway up. Making sure you're softening your neck as you fold down. And then after those 3 rounds, your choice, how you come up to standing. You're placing weight on your heels. Your leg slowly lengthens. Spine becomes long. Hands meet in front of your heart center or hands frame your hips. Intentional breath, arriving to the moment, arriving to your breath. As we welcome our breath, we welcome our experience. We'll start to shift into our warrior one. Right foot steps forward, left leg steps back. Left foot is in a diagonal, hip square towards the front of the room. We're gonna lift our chin, lift our gaze. We're gonna arch to our spine, fold. Inhale. Exhale. Release your hands. Cup your forearms with your hands. Hold here, stretching throughout the shoulders, opening the chest. We'll start to lengthen that right knee. Drop our chest so it's parallel to the floor. Most of your attention should be on that right hip, right glute. Hold. Sink your hip further towards the floor. And now drop your belly towards your thigh. Relax your neck. Now you can keep your fingers wrapped around your forearms or drop your hands towards the floor. Neck is relaxed. 3 breaths. Drop your hands towards the floor. Relax your neck. We'll start to prepare for our standing splits. Bring your hands forward, hands beneath your shoulders. Lift your left leg as high as you can. Inhale here and exhale. You're dropping your belly towards that thigh. Left foot meets that right foot. Inhale, halfway up, 3 rounds. Second round, inhale, halfway up. Third round. Now, as you finish that third round, from here, we'll step back into our plank pose. Hold your plank pose. Stay there 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale. Lifting your core up towards the ceiling. And now lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Downward facing dog. Plank pose. Inhale, exhale. Lift up, downward facing dog. Last round, plank pose. Hold your plank pose. Hold. And then downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, drop your knees down towards the floor. Scooch your hands so they're right beneath your shoulders. Inhale up into your cow pose, lifting your tailbone. Exhale, round your spine a few times with your breath. Protect throughout the spine, lower back, mid back, upper back. One more round, inhaling up. And then exhaling, rounding your spine. Shift your spine back to a neutral position or a neutral tabletop. Lift your left leg. Press that left palm firmly onto the floor. Lift your right arm up. Either taking your gaze forward or taking your gaze down towards the mat. Right shoulder away from your ears. You're activating your glutes, your quads. You're lifting your core up towards the ceiling. Nice even breath here, generous breath. And now release. Opposite side, lift that right leg. Plant that palm firmly onto the floor. Lift your left arm up and hold. Deep belly breath to support you. Release your hand down towards the floor. Release your knee. Inhale up, 1 cow pose and 1 cat pose. Shift into your seated position. Mini meditation of 3 breaths. Learning to slow down with our bodies. We inhale and exhale for the day we've had so far. We inhale and exhale for this moment. And we inhale and exhale for the rest of our day. If your eyes are closed, we open our eyes. Notice the quality of your breath. As we welcome our breath, we welcome our experience. Not judging as good or bad, just noticing. We'll drop our chin towards our chest and then roll our head from one shoulder to the next. Take care of your upper back, tops of the shoulders, sides of the neck, back and front of the neck as well. If you prefer to work on some meditation, go ahead and work on that meditation. Three breaths with these neck rolls, or start to shift your head back to that neutral position. Ground your sit bones on the floor. Draw your shoulders down. As you come back to your neutral seated posture, one intentional inhale and exhale. We'll start to bend our knees, lengthen our legs out in front of us. We'll bend our knees and then keep our soles of the feet on the floor. Take our palms out towards the ceiling. Lift your legs as high as you can. Imagine there is a cord lifting your chest up. Lengthen your legs as much as you can here. Inhale. Exhale, and then drop your legs on the floor. Drop your elbows on the floor. We're going to go ahead and open up throughout the throat, but be gentle about this. So first, elbows. So don't drop your head back yet. As you drop your head back, notice that you're going to lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling. You can imagine a cord lifting your abdomen and also your chest up towards the ceiling simultaneously as you drop your head back. You can try that. So your shoulders cradle your head. I'm lifting my chest. I'm lifting my core up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and point your toes and hold. It's very an exposing pose. Lift your chest, so collapse your spine. And release. Drop your head back. One breath, inhale here. Let's exhale, side out. Bend your right knee. Grab your knee with your hands. Round your spine once. Forehead up towards your knee. Hold. Elbows remain close to your torso. You don't flare up or open up. Flex that left foot towards the front of the room. One more breath. And then drop your head back. Opposite side, bend your left knee. Grab your knee with your hands. Flex that right foot. Round your spine. Forehead up towards your knee. Hold. One more breath. Drop your head back. Bend both knees, soles of the feet on the floor. Lift your hips as high as you can and hold. So I'm engaging around the glutes here, activating around the quads, lifting my belly as far as I can up towards the ceiling, my hips as well. Hold here, and then drop your hips back down. Second round, out of 3, lift hips up towards the ceiling. Drop your hips back down, take a breath. Third round, hips lift up and hold. Release. And now we'll start to transition into our last resting pose. First, we'll bend our knees, rock a little bit to the left, to the right. You're grabbing your knees with your hands. Rock to the left, rock to the right. And now drop your legs, lengthening your legs, heels on the floor, palms facing up towards the ceiling. Settle into this pose. It's a restorative pose, meaning your body is completely supported by the ground. You're not holding yourself up with activated muscle groups. It's surprising that even though we're laying down, even though this is a pose where we can soften our bodies, surprisingly, our bodies will be tense in certain areas. We're all unique, so it'll be in different areas. But scan your body, right? Purposely soften your body. This is a pose of letting go, of receiving, of integrating, of learning the wisdom of slowing down, taking pause, doing nothing, releasing expectations. There's a lot to be learned in this pose, and it is the pose that is pretty universal despite the diversity of yoga classes that are offered. Not only is it pretty universal, it's also the pose that tends to be held the longest, speaking to the importance of this pose. And then speaking to how this yoga practice is very holistic. Soften your breath. So you have a couple of options. You can continue long, deep breaths, so that is part of your practice, or you can go back to your breath to natural rhythm. It does take skill to continuously invite full deep breaths over a long period of time. Soften your forehead and jaw and neck. Shoulders, and then soften down your wrists and palms into your fingertips. Our hands that tend to hold on to so much. Soften them. Even if you're imagining those fingertips, relax just a little bit more. Soften the upper back, mid back, lower back, all the way down to the tailbone. Soften the hips, behind the knees, down to your ankles and toes. Observe thoughts and sensations without judgment of good or bad, just notice. Start to shift your attention back to your breath, inviting a generous and leisurely inhale and exhale. Restore some movement to your fingertips and your toes. You have the option of inviting a full body stretch, lifting your arms up overhead, pointing your toes. You also have the option of turning your body to your side, allowing it to remain heavy and relaxed. Once more, return to that generous and leisurely breath. We create a new relationship with time when we slow down. Start to shift back up to your seated position on your ankles, or seated in a cross-legged position. You've been practicing presence throughout the class, presence, awareness. So make those little adjustments that bring you more in integrity with your body. Draw your shoulders down. Hands can rest on your knees. Inhale and exhale here. And we'll go ahead and seal the class with an intentional breath cycle, hands in front of our heart center in deep appreciation and gratitude. We inhale here, and we exhale. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. Namaste.